What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 18 of the Texas Rangers slash Washington Nationals Out of the Park Baseball 24 series. We're here off-season 2029-2030, coming off our first playoff appearance in our first year in Texas. And just for reference, the Nationals had a pretty good little run in the playoffs. They made it to the NLCS, lost in 7 games to the Diamondbacks. And Mike Trout got his, I believe, first ring. Yes, finally wins in 2029. He's had a heck of a career. One of his better outcomes you'll probably see, up to 107 WAR, according to this game, his calculation of WAR. But yeah, we're here in the offseason. A lot of work to do, and I've kind of set up the team how I think it's going to be, how it's going to look. Hold on. So, we're going to have a catcher. I think that guy is Steve Crow. Good defender. Decent bat as well. He's playing in the Arizona Fall League right now, so he's not on my roster at the moment, but he'll be our catcher. Our other hole is at shortstop, and besides that, the offense looks pretty damn good. And we have a move lined up for a shortstop. We'll get to that in a second. But the rotation's less, very much less certain. I gave Cole Irvin a 1-year extension, $1.5 million. He had a really good season for us, as a 5th starter in Zeter type. So we're going to bring him back. We'll see if he can replicate what he did last year. If not, it's a $1.5 million deal. It's not a huge deal. Maybe he could pitch out of the bullpen for us. And then Mitch Bratt was probably our second best pitcher last year. I'd be much more comfortable with him as like our 4 starter, not our 2 starter, and starting playoff games for us. Although he did have a good playoff start, so can't completely count him out. And he had a really good end to the season, so maybe there's more in the tank for Mitch, but he'll be back. But yeah, we really need a 2 and a 3 starter. And let's get to the trade really quick that we're going to pull off. So I was looking around, kind of, testing the waters, seeing what's available, what's out there for a cheap enough price. And really, this is a guy who's an OOTP legend, and we're going to pull off this absolute blockbuster. So for us, we're getting Edwin Arroyo, who is an awesome defensive player, coming off like a MVP caliber season last year, the year before this one, his age 24 season, and has really just been like a 4 to 6 win player throughout his career. So we're picking up a good player. He's a little fragile. He's dealt with a couple injuries, but nothing crazy. He tore his Achilles a few years back and missed almost all of 2026, but he's played most of the season since. And what we're getting is a good shortstop defensively and a decent bat as well. And then we're also picking up Steven Cruz, who is a reliever from Kansas City who I've tried to trade for in the past. They picked him up this offseason. He has 1 year of control left. It's going to be a little pricey at $13.6 million. I don't think... Yeah, no, this isn't going to actually eat any money in reality, but... yeah, we'll pick up Cruz. We're going to have to pay him a little bit to be our closer, but I'm totally cool with that. Then we're also picking up this guy, Ramon Gomez, who is a little bit expensive for a reliever. I'm actually starting to double second guess this one. Yeah, that might be a little too expensive. But yeah, they're eating 30% of Arroyo's deal, which goes 3 more seasons at 28 each. They're going to eat about 8.5, so we'll be on the hook for about 20. Which is fine. We have a lot of money opening up this offseason. Basically, he's replacing what Josh Hader was making. Steven Cruz will be making quite a bit as well, but we have $71 million to spend. Even if you take out 15 for Cruz's deal, it still looks pretty good. And in return, they're not getting a ton, but they're getting a decent package. Jared Hawking, former 3rd-round pick, hasn't really accumulated to much. I guess their biggest grabs are probably Walter Jenkins, who we traded for this past deadline. Got off to a really good start with us, kind of faded down the stretch. He's a good dart throw for sure. And then Boston Barrow is probably the biggest name that they're getting. Was not impressive with us at all last year. 45 infield range is not great. Also, wait, can I... All right, whatever. That guy was a nothing reliever. But yeah, Boston Barrow, pretty decent get for them. Can play around the field. They're also getting this guy, Derlin Figueroa, who's a 26-year-old with a little bit of upside if you can reach that. Maybe their scout thinks a little bit more highly of him, but I don't think too highly. And Johnny DeLuca, who absolutely crushed, counting stats-wise in AAA last year. The overall rate stats don't look quite as good, but could be a decent depth piece for him. And yeah, I think this is a trade we're going to go through with. And we pick up Arroyo and Steven Cruz. Pretty big deal there. So the second trade we have lined up is quite a bit smaller. It's pretty much picking up, giving them nothing for a decent arm that they're not going to use. So Seth Lonsway, well, I'll always have a soft spot for. I did a Padres series, offline, of course, in last year's game. And Seth Lonsway was like just a sick pitcher for me. And yeah, he hasn't really gotten a shot with LA. They just won the World Series. He's going to be a free agent, but that's only because he's not on their 40-man, I believe. So I'm going to add him to my 40, and then I'll be giving up Gabriel Torres, who's a 26-year-old minor league reliever. So pretty much a no-brainer. We just have to add him to the 40-man, that's all. Which is not going to be a problem. And then, yeah, we have to get rid of one spot. Varsho is going to be a free agent, so we'll just DFA him. So, checking out this lineup, it looks pretty good. You throw Arroyo in there. Hopefully, he's going to be batting sixth, which isn't really ideal, but he does have the upside of like a 127 WRC plus guy, or even a league average hitter would be fine in the 6 hole. Joe McCall could easily slide up to that spot as well. Chris Sarver / Eric Bloomer. A couple other decent bats. Not the best or anything, but then Brock Daniels is going to be our super utility guy yet again. He kind of played that role a lot last year. Mostly played first and left, but can definitely play all over the field. But, wouldn't start him anywhere besides, first base or left field on an everyday basis. So, yeah, that's where we are. As far as non-tenders, pretty much everyone here except, I guess, Cruz, Pacheco, and Mitch Bratt. Antuna, who I love, but he was so bad for us when he picked him up, and he's set to make $5 million. It just wasn't going to happen. But we will give Steven Cruz a deal here. 13-3, not a bad price for a good closer there, and we need someone to replace Hader anyway, so Lonsway could also step into the rotation. I'm not sure how he would fare there, but definitely has the potential to start for us. So, tentatively, I don't even want to tentatively put him in there because, we want to shoot for a little bit more than Lonsway as a 3-starter. So, Cruz will step into the closer's role. Hopefully he can just lock down every game and be a total beast for us. Didn't have a great season last year. The home runs were a little inflated. But hopefully he can bounce back and return to this Kansas City, 200 ERA plus guy. But yeah, that's how the offseason is going to start. We'll get into awards and everything and come back in just a second. All right, so a bit to update here. We'll go through awards first, and then we'll get to what's happened here as free agents have filed. AL Gold Gloves, who didn't get any. There's the NL Gold Gloves, reliever of the year, Garrett Crochet for the Yankees. Evan Phillips gets some first place votes as well. None of our guys got on there. Not too surprising. Oh, no, just Lucas Jacobson actually did. Good for him. Dylan Lee in the NL. Tyler McGill of the Washington Nationals picked up 51 saves on the year. Finishes in 4th. He was one of our acquisitions for them. You're welcome, Washington. They wound up... James Wood was on the trade block. I was really considering it, but he's making $23 million, for 1 year. I don't know. Just seems a little bit steep. Cooper Pratt had a pretty decent year as well. Marcel LeMayer, free agent after the year as well. So, Washington, let's see what you guys can do when, all of these guys are up at the same time. Oh, they signed Paul Skeens to an extension. That has really good potential to backfire on them. Holy crap. Opt out after year 1, which is interesting. So, all the payroll flexibility I gave them, they've kind of already blown. AL Silver Sluggers. No one of ours. NL guys. Tommy White, formerly of our squad, didn't even have that great of a year, but, he was decent. Marcelo Mayer, of course, at shortstop after dropping a 77 WRC plus for us our final year. Win Silver Slugger and probably going to win MVP. I haven't looked yet. Also, Ellie De La Cruz is on the trade block. It was him or Arroyo I could have traded for, but we kind of already have a third baseman in Seager, and, De La Cruz on this massive deal, and just didn't really make any sense. And then Rookie of the Year in the AL, none of our dudes. NLs, you have Adonis Guzman, who is a guy we drafted in the second round in 2025. Had an awesome season for them. I don't know if he ever would have been my starting catcher. His ability is only 55. There's a chance I could have gone for it, but I probably would have gone the Trevino route, honestly. So good for him for getting a shot and finishing third in the Rookie of the Year. Best skipper, Angels and Diamondbacks. Andres Jimenez just signed a big extension. Wow. And then AL Cy Young, Chase Dollander. I did see this one because the alert popped up on my screen, but yeah, he picks up his second Cy Young in 4 seasons. Looks like he won one in 2025. In just his second season in the league. But yeah, this year was probably his most impressive season all around. The FIP under, or right around 3, 6.3 WAR. Just an awesome season from Dollander. Then Jeff Bentley. Wow. This guy was not even on my radar. But he wins Cy Young, 2.41 ERA, just beating out Aaron Nola, who also had a really good season, throwing 223 innings in NL high. Not quite as good as his year that he had with us. But, the peripherals are literally almost exactly the same. Then MVP Rodolfo Alva. I don't know why it went to him. Rodolfo Alva, 24 years old on the Cleveland Guardians. Went pretty much straight from rookie ball to the majors. How many years did he spend down in rookie ball? Just out of curiosity. Oh, that's not shocking. Like, how this is incredibly broken. He spent 4 seasons in rookie ball and then went straight to the majors. I'd put up 3.7 WAR. But a total of 11 games in full season ball in A. But good for him. He wins MVP. Looks like Thomas Sajasi comes in like 6th there, I think. And Dollander finishes a little farther down the ballot. And Corey Seager gets a couple votes as well. And then Marcelo Mayer, of course, wins NL MVP. I'm so pissed off because he literally got me fired. Like his horrible season, like, dude, put up a league average bat and we're probably like in the playoffs. He just decided to absolutely suck for literally no reason. His BABIP was exactly in line as this season, and I don't really know what happened, but I'm just going to keep going on and on about that because, I would have loved to be playing as the Nationals right now. James Wood finishes 4th. He's had a couple top finishes. How do I check this? History? Yeah, here we go. I guess I can't see his finishes, but yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, maybe even this season he probably finished 2nd or 3rd. I don't quite remember, but yeah, this is probably one of his best seasons too. 13% walk rate just coming out of nowhere. He was always like a 10% guy, but good for him. Love James Wood. Always going to be rooting for him. He always showed up when we needed him. And then Aaron Nola a little bit farther down the ballot. And yeah, that's pretty much it for updates. We offered Cease a qualifying offer. He declined it. So we'll get a comp pick for him, pending that he signs. And then no one really to note out of the international guys. This guy was interesting, but we already have a bunch of like outfield types, like these corner slash center fielder types coming up. So not really too interested. This pitcher was pretty interesting as well. I guess we could throw a scouting report, try to get something on him. But he's a side armor. I'm not really a fan of these types, but he's 22, doesn't want a ton of money. Could be a nice dice to roll. Let's hop into free agency here. So, Jaden Hill, who has been one of the best pitchers in the save, unfortunately was stuck in Colorado for so many years, but finally was freed and went to Pittsburgh and put up a nice season. And last year was also pretty good. He's been hindered by injuries, so always going to be skeptical about that. Also, I doubt he has very high stamina. He has 50 stamina. That's actually not bad. Definitely playable, but Shohei Ohtani hits free agency. I think he's had an up and down pitching career. Yeah, he had a really bad season with Philly. I remember this. But the underlying metrics look pretty good. And he's been a quality, like, middle of the rotation, maybe a good 2-3 starter for them. Looks like he got hurt this past season. It was a torn back muscle. Back injuries aren't great for a 35-year-old. You could throw him a scouting report, see what happens. Besides that, Max Fried's always a good option. Just blew out his elbow, though, but he's going to come at a discount. We'll send out a scouting report for him. That could be a nice high upside play. Besides that, we really just need a couple arms to fill out the rotation. I think we'll be in good shape going into next season. Jake Eater's always a guy that I like. He wants a pretty decent deal, though. Yeah, 7 years. I don't think so. I'd rather go with a value grab. Like a Patrick Sandoval type who did pitch well for us in Washington while he was there. He was a good, 4-starter. He also wants some money, though. Yeah, a little pricey. If I'm going to bargain bin hunt, I'm really going to bargain bin hunt. I'm not going to throw a middle of the rotation arm, $13 million. Josiah Gray has really emerged as a really quality starter since he's left Washington. Actually played for Texas right before we got here. What was that trade anyway? I don't think we really got much. Oh, no, we have Brian Wu. Yeah, so that definitely worked out. That wasn't really, I never thought he was going to be this guy. He kind of just TCR'd that, but wound up working out for Washington in that case. As for the rest of this, I'll just go through, see what I can find that's cheap. And Casey Mize is always a guy that's a good option. Yeah, he's not too expensive. Okay, so I'll go look through, see what we can find. Maybe some trades might pop up. But yeah, we'll see what we can do to fill out those 2 rotation spots, and we'll be back. All right, so I think we have our trade for a starter here. So Luis Castillo, we gave this a shot in Washington, where he didn't really do too much. He was a fine pitcher, like a league average arm, but I don't know. I always just hoped he'd overachieve, and he never did. But I'm gonna give him another shot here. He's a ground ball pitcher. We're gonna have an awesome infield defense this year with Arroyo in at short. Ortiz is going to be a stud at second. Seager's a really good third baseman. Sajici's about as good as it gets at first base. And our outfield defense is really good too. So I think a ground baller and a pitch to contact type of guy would actually work pretty well on this team. So he has 2 years left. The second year is a vesting option, requiring 25 games started. Basically, if he gets hurt, he's not going to vest. If he doesn't get hurt and he's good enough, we'll start him 25 games, and they'll still be eating $10 million for next season. So I don't think it's a no-brainer. We're giving them Dean Curley, who honestly is a pretty intriguing guy. Absolutely crushed it in AAA. At least for Chicago before we traded for him. He was fine afterwards, but Yeah, I don't know. We don't really need him. We have a lot of infield types kind of on our 40 man already. And honestly, if we're able to, just flip him, we basically got him for nothing. It was like a salary dump. Yeah. And we got $3.5 million. So if we're able to flip all that salary dump for Luis Castillo, basically, I think it's a pretty good deal. So we're going to pull this off. Even if Castillo isn't the best arm, he can at least eat innings for us and hopefully be good enough to behind our defense. So he's going to be slotted tentatively as our 3 starter. Could move up to the 4. We have 2 offers out there. So Joseph Gonzalez, just a minor league guy. But Max Fried, I scouted him. This is kind of what he was before. This is after. He has a partially torn UCL. This could go downhill really quick, but it's a 1-year, $8 million deal that I gave him. He was awesome before he got hurt. And, these ratings are still pretty decent. They're not top of the line like this, but still throws hard and eat a lot of innings for us. Kind of what we're looking for. And another ground ball type in front of our defense. That leaves us with $28 million to spend. I do want to dump a lot of it into development. We're putting a pretty good amount in already. But let's throw a little bit more. We'll throw a little bit more into scouting. We'll leave ourselves with $16 million. It's pretty good. We could sign some smaller guys, some minor league deals with guarantees, and hopefully our owner will raise our budget even more. We're only 17th in payroll with the 8th biggest budget in baseball, so definitely room to add here for sure. And as we approach preseason, we can even cut that back or look to shed some salary. I mean, long term we look pretty good. Our only 2 guys under contract after next season are Dollander, Sujasi, and Arroyo for 1 season. So, I mean, those are 3 core pieces, and yeah, I'm really pumped to have. I don't know. This team's looking like a championship contender already, and it's only been 1.5 seasons really of adding. So, Phil Wick, I'm a little bit concerned about that control, man. He looks like a good arm, had a really good season in A-ball. Number 9 prospect in baseball. We'll see how he turns out. But anyway, he could be our heir apparent to any of these guys. And, I don't love Cole Irvin in the 5 spot, but I think he can do a fine enough job like he did last year. We'll sign some other minor league guys as free agency continues. But as for now, we picked up Castillo. And hopefully we'll get Max Fried within a couple days. So we'll be back. All right, so this is a kind of smaller, not exciting trade at all, but we're picking up Logan Allen from the Rays, who honestly is probably going to slide into my 5 spot in the rotation. Pretty decent arm, has had a couple quality league average starting seasons since he's gotten to Tampa Bay. Had this crazy season with Cleveland back in 2025, but has not followed that up with anything extraordinary, but has been a good quality 5 starter. They're looking to shed some salary. They're going to eat 40% of this deal, 35%. So we'll be on the hook for $7 million for the next 2 seasons, which is perfectly fine for a good 4 or 5 starter. So we're giving up nothing. Xander Darby is a former 15th round pick, 27 years old. So going to take some scraps from Tampa Bay and slot him into our rotation. Cole Irvin tentatively is going to be out as of now, but we'll probably keep him around as a long man to begin the year. We'll keep moving forward. Cozile was a guy I was looking to move. I don't know. He might be valuable as a super utility guy. The only issue is Brock Daniels is kind of playing that role right now. Coming off a pretty good year, did fade down the stretch, but still have a lot of faith in him. I don't know what we're gonna do with Brock. He could be a part of a trade for a upgrade around the diamond somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where that would be, but I mean our offense looks pretty good at this point. We don't have any bad players in here. I did want to throw Crow on the roster. He's tentatively my starting catcher next year. I mean, like, this is a pretty good team. We'll have Bloomer and Daniels kind of our utility guys. We have a backup infielder, either Colomares or Don Cone, who were both, like, fine players for us last year, but definitely not cut out to be starters, but definitely good utility men. Don Cone has an option left. Colomares has a couple. Does he have one? A couple of years, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think the offense looks pretty good. We have a bunch of backup outfielders. Braylon Guerrero is a guy I'm excited for, showing a lot of potential. Had a good year in high A and double A last year. And Everett Johnson, a guy who played decently well in double A, had a good season in the Arizona Fall League. So, another guy. I think our offense is pretty set at this point. We have 3 catchers, backups around the infield. You know, I think the pitching staff looks good. We'll figure it out with these guys, I think. I think we added a good amount to the bullpen, and pretty much, you know, if we wind up picking up Max Fried here, he did up his offer. He wanted $10 million, so I gave him 10. We'll see if we get outbid. You know, I probably won't go any higher than that on him just because he's coming off the elbow injury, and you never know with that. It is time for the Rule 5 draft, so we can go through that. I'm going to leave this guy unprotected for sure. Joseph Gonzalez is the guy we just signed. I have a feeling he'll get taken, but I'm going to leave him unprotected. I like this guy, but probably not going to protect him either. Yeah, we don't really have anyone here, so we'll get on with the draft. With the 21st pick. And I doubt we'll take anyone here. We're kind of full. And there you go. Joseph Gonzalez did get taken. That's unfortunate, but decent chance he gets returned. Who knows? Jake Galoff was a guy I shortlisted way back in the day. What was he, a draft pick? Yeah, he was our first draft. Pretty decent player. He has not really gotten a shot. I guess he got a good shot in 2027. Oh, never mind. He's played a ton in the majors. But yeah, we're not going to pick anyone here. We really don't have a ton of needs. I guess we can look at relievers. Jose Acuna. Did I? He was a guy that I picked up for kind of nothing. Yeah. Oh, no, that's not even our trade. Oh, I took him in the rule. Oh, yeah, okay. I took him in the Rule 5 draft. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, he had a really good season, but now they DFA'd him, outrighted him off the roster. Interesting. Yasser Mercedes, Minnesota Twins Out of the Park Baseball 24 series legend. Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton. Another Nationals guy they left unprotected. We got him in a trade. What was that trade? Edwin Uceta and Robert Hassel, who, yikes. What a sad career, man. He had to a promising start, too, and just did not work out. He wound up retiring at age 26. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to skip this pick. We really don't need anything here. Only 3 guys taken. Trey Morgan and Jose Devers. Interesting. Okay. Okay, we'll keep simming ahead. We'll come back with any updates. All right, so we definitely went quantity over quality this free agent period. We had like the lowest amount to spend in international money, so we signed a bunch of different guys. I was going for some of the top guys, but I just got outbid. So we got this guy Alejandro Tovar. Could be a DH option down the road. Pimentel is actually the highest potential guy that we got, but just a first baseman. But has some decent upside. Could be a trade candidate down the road. Frank Orta, honestly, is the most intriguing guy here. Only 20 potential, which is just, I don't understand it. High work ethic. I mean, I see the tools of like a top-of-the-line starter. I don't get it. Is there something I'm missing here? I'm not sure, but he's a 20 potential, but, you know, absolutely insane ratings. Got him for like dirt. Got him for $650,000. Definitely was not letting him go. Jorge Guerrero, another depth piece. Contreras has a couple different pitches. Who knows? Maybe some TCR. Juan Deriva, decent arm. Sergio Morales, Juan Contreras, and Vicente Caceres with the high work ethic and everything. So a bunch of guys we picked up. And I want to check out my international complex. I usually just promote guys when they're 18 or they have good enough current ratings to be able to play. So we'll promote all those guys. We have a ton of dudes down here now. I like at least 2 of these ratings to be 25 or a couple good pitches. So Campos kind of fits that bill. He'll be 18 by the time the season starts. I guess I could do all this off camera, but show the process of how I always screw these guys up. This guy, 30 stuff, 25 movement, totally can play in development league. This guy too, 25 contact, 25 home run. We'll give him a shot. You know, as you get younger, the less probability that someone's developed like that will be, but Jorge Guerrero's borderline. I think I'll wait on him. Frank Orta, I'm really intrigued about. Yeah, we'll keep it at that for now. So, yeah, we're probably gonna need some depth in our minor leagues. I let a lot of guys go. So we'll do some free agent signings as this period continues. Probably when preseason begins. So we'll hop back in a little bit with an update. Oh, we did make one signing, Joe Jimenez. 2 years, 4.5 per. You know, it was too good of a value to pass up, even though we don't really need relievers. But coming off a rough year in New York, but had, you know, been a really consistent reliever the 4 years previous. We're going to roll the dice with him. Yeah, we'll have to work out some of what's going on here. We also traded for Clayton Beeter earlier in the offseason. Didn't mention this one. For basically nothing. We're going to let him, I don't know, rot in AAA. But I picked him up for nothing. He's got another option year, 2 option years left. Yeah, we got a bunch of guys here that can compete for bullpen spots. So really excited with how this pitching staff has come into shape. And we'll keep moving forward here. Come back with an update in a second. All right, so we're here. Made it through spring training relatively unscathed with any injuries. A couple guys got hurt, but like they were back. They're back already if they were hurt. So we wound up with 7 ties during the spring. But our preseason predictions here. Going down, NL West. We're tied at the Mariners, right there with the defending champion Angels. For the division, Guardians, Yankees round out the top of the AL. As for top hitters, we have Corey Seager in here once again. And for starters, Chase Dolander makes an appearance on the list. Not surprising at all. I'm very curious what the Nationals did this offseason. Doesn't look like they made too many big changes. James Wood's still hanging around. Raheem Lucky's still leading off for them. Mike Nelson, this guy, yeah, they got him in a trade. This was a pretty good heist. Although they gave up one of my favorite prospects, Sergio Aldana. I really liked him, and they gave him up in this trade, number 16 prospect in baseball. But he's their 3-hitter. Gonna be a stud for him. Namala, coming off a pretty solid season, first full season in the majors. And in the rotation, they have newly extended Paul Skeens, Brian Wu, and Aaron Nola, who's a free agent after next season. Could be this season as well. I'm sure he would opt out. Tyler McGill is still their closer. Zach Gallen, their setup man. What a bizarre team. They traded for him. Wendell Jennings, this is the guy I remember hanging around. Luis Morales. So interesting. Whatever. We don't care about them anymore. Obviously I do, but yeah, this is how the team kind of shaped up. You see the pitching staff. Nothing too surprising. We did wind up having to make a couple cuts. Irv Carter, a guy who pitched okay for us last season, but Holy crap, he was so bad in spring. I'm sure he'll pass through waivers. At least I'm pretty sure he'll pass through. He was out of options. And then Hayden Thomas, a 25-year-old, another guy who was out of options. Didn't have a great year last year in AAA. We'll see if he passed through waivers. If not a huge deal. Phil Wick got a little bit boost in his current ratings. Dropped a little bit in potential, but still looks like a decent arm. He's number 14 prospect in baseball. Brad Snyder, number 120. 6th round pick last season for us. Then Ken Rourke dropped a few spots. He lost a lot potential ratings, but on his way to making the majors at some point. Eric Bloomer down here. He made the opening day roster. Let's go through that. Again, not too many surprising. Coleman Arez made the roster over Don Cohn as our utility infielder. You see Brock Daniels going to be playing a little bit second, a little bit of DH to start the year. Bloomer will be mixing in center and left. These guys will back up certain positions. Coleman Arez is my backup shortstop. Not going to be playing a ton for Arroyo, but when he needs a break, he'll come in and maybe a defensive replacement. But all of these guys are pretty good defensively in the infield, so not really too necessary. But anyway, opening day here against Oakland. Juice Dollander on the mound for us, and let's see how we do. We win 6-1 to begin the season. Nice day from the top of our order. Dollander, an awesome start. 3 hits, 0 walks, 13 Ks, and Cole Irvin closes it out. So, game 2 in the series, Max Fried making his Texas debut for the Rangers, and we win 3-1. Stone Russell, a big day. Max Fried, a really quality start, and then Jimenez and Cruz get it done in the bullpen, looking for the sweep against Oakland with Luis Castillo making his debut, and we win 7-1. So a really awesome series from the pitching. Hitting does its job. 5 2/3, 1 run, 4 walks, but got the job done for us, and we allow a total of 3 runs in 3-game set. So good start for the pitching, and a good start for the Texas Rangers, and that's where we'll wrap up this episode. The Royals wound up moving to Jacksonville. They're now the Jacksonville Warriors. So just if you see the Jacksonville Warriors, they're the former Royals. It doesn't really make any sense to have them in the Central Division, but we'll keep them there for now. And yeah, that's where we'll wrap up the episode. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.